What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button because we're diving deep into one of the wildest quarterback situations in the NFL right now. The Cleveland Browns are in a fascinating spot. They've got their rookie starter Shedeur Sanders looking surprisingly solid, and now Deshaun Watson is back on the practice field for the first time in over a year. Yeah, you heard that right. The guy with the $230 million fully guaranteed contract is healthy again, just as the Browns might have found their answer at quarterback. Let's break down what's happening in Cleveland and what this means for everyone involved. So let's rewind for a second and talk about how we got here. Deshaun Watson tore his Achilles tendon back on October 20th, 2024. That's rough for any player, but especially brutal for a quarterback who relies on mobility and footwork. Now, an Achilles injury typically takes about 9 to 12 months to recover from, so you'd think Watson would be back around now, right? Well, here's where it gets even more complicated. Watson tore that same Achilles again in January during his rehab process. That's absolutely devastating. A second tear on the same tendon? That's not just a setback. That's basically restarting the entire recovery timeline. So we're talking about a guy who hasn't played meaningful football in well over a year now, and he spent most of that time rehabbing one of the most difficult injuries a player can face. But here's where things get interesting. The Browns opened Watson's 21-day practice window this Wednesday. What does that mean? Basically, the team has 3 weeks to decide whether to activate him to the roster or shut him down for the entire season. Coach Kevin Stefanski had some positive things to say about Watson's progress, mentioning how hard he's been working in rehab and how good it is to finally see him back on the practice field with his teammates, even if it's just for individual drills right now. Now, while Watson's been rehabbing, something unexpected happened in Cleveland. Enter Shedeur Sanders. Yes, that's Sanders, Coach Prime's son from Colorado. The Browns drafted him, and honestly, nobody knew exactly what to expect. But here's the thing. He's actually been pretty impressive. Sanders first entered a game back in Week 11 when the backup at the time, Dillon Gabriel, took a hit and ended up in concussion protocol. Sanders came in cold off the bench and showed some real poise. Then in Week 12, with Gabriel still out, Sanders got his first NFL start. And he won. Not only did he win, but he looked comfortable doing it, confident, like he belonged. So what did the Browns do? Even after Gabriel cleared concussion protocol and was medically ready to return, they stuck with Sanders. That's a huge vote of confidence for a rookie quarterback. Think about that. The coaching staff liked what they saw enough to keep him as the starter, even when they had other options available. As of now, Sanders is preparing for his third career start, and the Browns seem committed to seeing what they have in this kid. The timing here is fascinating, right? Just as Sanders is settling into the starting role and showing promise, Watson is back on the field. Talk about awkward timing. Let's address the elephant in the room, that contract. When the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson, they didn't just give up draft picks. They gave up 5 picks total, including 3 first-rounders. 3 first-rounders. And then they signed Watson to a 5-year, $230 million fully guaranteed contract. Fully guaranteed. That's extremely rare in the NFL, and it completely handcuffed the Browns financially. How has Watson performed since arriving in Cleveland? Not great, if we're being honest. He's 9-10 as a starter. That's a losing record. He's thrown 19 touchdowns against 12 interceptions, with a passer rating of 80.7. Those are below average numbers for a quarterback making that kind of money. To put it in perspective, that's the type of production you'd expect from a middle-of-the-pack backup, not a guy who's supposed to be a franchise cornerstone. The fans? They're not happy. And who can blame them? The Browns gave up their future draft capital and are paying quarterback money to a guy who's been either injured or underperforming. Co-owner Jimmy Haslam even admitted at league meetings back in March that they took a big swing and miss with the trade. That's a pretty stunning admission from an owner. He added that they've got to dig ourselves out of that hole. Yeah, good luck with that when you're paying guaranteed money through 2026. The Browns have already tried to restructure Watson's contract twice in the past 3 months, just to create some salary cap flexibility. That's how bad the financial situation is. They're essentially paying a fortune for a player who might not even be their starting quarterback anymore. So where do the Browns go from here? They've got 3 weeks to decide Watson's fate for this season. If they don't activate him from injured reserve within that 21-day window, he's done for the year. But here's the real question. Even if he's physically ready, should they activate him? Think about it from the team's perspective. You've got a rookie in Shedeur Sanders who's showing promise, building chemistry with the offense, and earning the trust of his teammates and coaches. Do you really want to disrupt that? What message does it send to Sanders if you bench him the moment Watson is healthy? And what does that do to the locker room dynamic? On the flip side, Watson is still under contract through 2026, and that money is fully guaranteed whether he plays or not. The Browns are paying him regardless, so there's probably some organizational pressure to at least see if he can return to form. Maybe the Achilles is fully healed. Maybe he looks explosive again. Maybe, and this is a big maybe, he can somehow justify that contract. But there's also a very real possibility that Watson is never the same player he was before. Achilles injuries are career-altering, and he tore his twice. That's extremely concerning. His mobility, his ability to extend plays, his footwork in the pocket, all of that could be compromised permanently. So here we are, folks. The Cleveland Browns find themselves in an absolutely fascinating position. They've got a highly paid veteran who's been sidelined for over a year, a promising rookie who's winning games, and a backup waiting in the wings. It's a genuine quarterback controversy brewing in Cleveland, which is something Browns fans know all too well. They've been living in quarterback purgatory for decades. My take? If I'm the Browns, I'm riding with Shedeur Sanders for the rest of this season. Let him develop, let him build confidence, and see what you really have. Watson isn't going anywhere financially, so there's no rush. Let him practice, get fully healthy, and reevaluate everything in the offseason. But that's just my opinion. What do you think? Should the Browns stick with Sanders or give Watson another shot? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more NFL content. I'll catch you in the next one.